Russia has just unveiled a new type of weapon. Nicknamed the death ray, Moscow wants to use this directed energy weapon to fry Ukrainian drones and knock them out of the skies. Especially in the aftermath of the events of the last few weeks, where Ukraine has managed to pierce the Russian defenses and has staged some audacious attacks on Russian infrastructure. Moscow has been on the hunt for new and cheaper ways to knock out the Ukrainian drones. Shooting down drones that could be as cheap as about $20,000 American dollars with anti-air defense missiles that are worth several times the cost of the drones is one way of running out of resources and losing the war. So Russia has now begun using its directed energy weapons to take the sting out of Ukraine's drone warfare. Electronic warfare is at the center of the Russian war in Ukraine. And not for the first time is Russia resorting to the use of electronic systems to nullify the Ukrainian weapons. On the 15th of August, Russia unveiled its latest version of the microwave cannon that can knock out enemy aircraft and drones within a range of 10 kilometers. And according to the Russian state media, this new microwave cannon that is mounted on the chassis of the Buk anti-aircraft missile system consists of a powerful relativistic oscillator, a dish antenna, a control and monitoring system, and a transmission system. And it is capable of providing a 360-degree perimeter defense. The repeated drone strikes by Ukraine, such as the one that was attempted over the Kremlin on the 3rd of May, and the drone attacks that were staged on Moscow's central business district, have necessitated that Russia must nullify Ukraine's ability to strike deep inside the Russian borders. And it is for this that Russia will increasingly rely on its death ray microwave cannons. But the concept of using directed energy weapon systems is not new. Countries such as the United States, China, France, United Kingdom, Israel, India, Pakistan, Turkey and Iran are in the process of developing military-grade directed energy weapons. Instead of a solid projectile, directed energy weapon systems use lasers, microwaves, particle beams and sound beams to destroy enemy targets. Consider this: the United States in 2014 deployed the AN/SEQ-3 laser weapon system on the USS Ponce warship for field testing. In 2018, a $150 million contract was given to Lockheed Martin for the production of 2 Helios laser units. The Russians too have their own laser-based anti-air defense and anti-satellite weapon called Peresvet. Introduced in 2018, a total of 5 of these directed energy laser systems are active at this moment. In warfare, technological superiority trumps almost every other factor, and the next few weeks will give us an idea as to how effective these new weapons introduced in the battlefield actually are. On the 17th of August, Ukraine began a new recruitment campaign. Urging all of its military-age citizens to overcome their fear. No official death toll has been given, but estimates indicate that in just the last 2 months of the brutal counter-offensive, Ukraine may have ended up losing almost 43,000 soldiers, while the Russian casualty figure has been pegged at 17,500. But Ukraine's gains in the counter-offensive have been very nominal, as the front lines on the map have barely moved. The strategic village of Yorozhain, which witnessed some pitched fighting, has been captured by the Ukrainian soldiers, as Kiev appears to be making a concerted effort to drive south towards the Sea of Azov. But in the Black Sea, Russia is beginning to impose a blockade on ships headed towards the Ukrainian ports with greater stringency. Despite the lurking danger of the Ukrainian naval drones, Moscow is said to be monitoring every single ship that is headed towards the Ukrainian ports. This video released by the Russian Navy will give you a glimpse of the level of the patrolling that Russia is now resorting to in the Black Sea. The incident is from the 13th of August, when a Palav-flagged ship headed towards the Ukrainian port was intercepted. The body cam footage shows the Russian soldiers checking the ship for its contents.
Stop it, Jai! Stop it, Jai! Keep calm and listen to me! Sit down, please sit down!
But away from the pitched fighting, back in the destroyed villages of Ukraine, the elderly parents of the sons who left their homes to go and fight are waiting for their sons to return back home. Lyubov is 62 years old. She was evacuated from the front lines when the fighting broke out. But she's now come back to her home after learning that her son who had stayed back to fight has been killed.
The bedroom where my son was killed is still intact, but the kitchen where he must have been cooking something or canning tomatoes was hit by the shell. The wall and roof were destroyed and buried him underneath. We had a large kitchen, it all fell down on him. The conflict will end someday, no matter how long. It will end. But when? How do we know? Us especially. How do we know?
Morning, Mr. President. Welcome. Thank you very much.
The political leaders so far have shown little political will to negotiate and end the fighting. But for those who are caught in the cruel vortex of violence, the hope that the fighting will end one day is what is helping them keep going.